I really got lucky on the timing of this AMA-style interview with the senior software engineer at Ripple, Mayukha Vadari. The current focus and spirited conversations on the X platform surrounding the automated market maker amendment has been an amazing catalyst for so many to level up on their XRP ledger knowledge, which is really paramount to understanding what you own. And this video is about another amendment soon to be voted on called the XLS 38 Bridge, or sometimes called the Cross-Chain Bridge. The bridge isn't just to EVM blockchains, but to XRP ledger sidechains as well. Sit back and in 18 minutes, you'll hear how the expanding world of the XRP ledger with the arrival of smart contracts will provide valuable functionality for entrepreneurs, builders, and users alike. Have a listen. Hey, everybody. It's Eddie from Tokyo. I have a very special guest with me tonight. I've been waiting for this one for a long time. I want to thank Ripple and Mayukha for coming on to the channel. And this is really interesting timing because there's so much going on with amendments. And we're soon going to see something that Mayukha co-authored here come to an amendment to be voted on. And what she wrote, but she co-authored with Scott Dieterman, is called the XLS 38. It's a cross-chain bridge, and it's for the XRP ledger. It's going to connect two different blockchains. And this is going to be a big deal. And it's going to make it possible to transfer assets from one chain to the other. Explain to people why this is important for the XRP ledger ecosystem.
Thanks for having me, Eri. Excited to be here. So my name's Mayukha. I am a senior software engineer at Ripple, and I primarily work on interoperability, everything in the space of mainly developer experience. How do we make it easier for people to work with anything interoperability related in the XRPL? So XLS 38, it's coming up in the next release of Ripple D, which will probably be in the next few weeks. It's mainly useful, as you said, for transferring assets between two chains. And the primary use case will probably be for this to be transferring funds between mainnet and a sidechain. So a sidechain is a separate blockchain that runs basically parallel to a main chain, such as mainnet, and derives all of its value and liquidity from the main chain that's connected to. And so what XLS 38 does is it connects these two chains so that you're able to transfer value and assets back and forth between these two chains. The use case of sidechains is mainly, there's a few primary use cases, I would say. You can have a sidechain for features that aren't really applicable to mainnet, like the EVM sidechain. I don't think we'll see EVM functionality natively on the XRPL anytime soon. You can have a sidechain for private functionality that you want your own custom things, like, for example, potentially CBDCs. And you can also have sidechains for new features that need to be a little bit baked and used before they can really be used on mainnet, just because of safety concerns and that sort of things, such as hooks. So the way the XLS 38 does this transfer of value is that you lock funds on the main chain, for example, and wrapped versions of those funds are minted on the side chain. And when you want to transfer your value back, you do the reverse. You burn your wrapped funds and unlock your original funds on the main chain.
This might be a silly question, but maybe some are wondering, will this bridge keep the XRP ledger decentralized?
Yeah, totally. I mean, so bridges are independent from the blockchain that they're connecting, first of all. So how decentralized a bridge is can be very different from how decentralized the blockchain is. And the bridge is pretty independent from the blockchain itself. The main thing that's making this bridge work is a new server called that we're calling the witness server. And what the witness server does is it essentially acts as an oracle to transfer information between the main chain and the side chain, because they don't really have any way of directly talking to each other. And so anyone can run these witness servers in theory, but really it's going to be the bridge creator or probably the sidechain creator that's deciding who's running these witness servers, at least initially, and over time this will grow. And so the bridge creator can decide how centralized or decentralized their bridge has to be. And as with everything in crypto, users should be DYORing on whatever bridges they're using to make sure that they're comfortable with who's running this bridge.
Yeah, so sticking with the witness server, you touched on what the role is. Would someone run more than one witness server on a sidechain? I mean, would you see some witness servers that everybody would use, possibly? Like, would Ripple run a witness server? And what are the challenges in running a witness server?
So you would definitely want more than one witness server per bridge. Uh, Essentially, they're all the witness servers are working together to make a bridge work, because you never want to trust just one entity. Certainly that would be very centralized, but it's also risky from a technical perspective, because then if you're a hacker who wants to hack a bridge, as we know, bridges are some of the most lucrative hacks in the crypto world. You only need to hack one person, one server. So, I would absolutely recommend that anyone running a bridge have multiple witness servers. And how many witness servers you are running as opposed to other people who are involved in this bridge, in this sidechain, well, that is up to the bridge creator and the sidechain creator and how decentralized they want that bridge to be. If you're running a private sidechain, that's probably not going to be very decentralized. You're probably just going to be running several witness servers yourself. But if you're, say, looking at the EVM sidechain, you're going to want a more decentralized collection of witness servers there, which we're looking to have run by a number of XRPL community members.
Ah, okay. Would it be possible, if you did run a witness server, could the person who is overseeing that side chain, could they monetize that witness server?
Yeah, so that is actually a part of the XLS 38 protocol, is the ability to monetize running a witness server. And that's mainly there because you have to pay fees on the XRPL to submit transactions. And so anyone running a witness server would have to be paying these fees to transfer funds. So they should at least be able to get those fees back from the people from the people that they're transferring funds for. And so that's baked in, though certainly you could also set a higher amount that you're getting back for each witness server and potentially make some money off of that too. As always, you should be, doing your own research with what bridges you use, and make sure that the bridges that you're using aren't going to fleece you for transferring your funds.
So what types of digital assets will be able to function on this bridge? Can you
Pretty
give
much
some
anything.
examples? Really? Like a Bitcoin,
Yeah. So
a
for
Dogecoin?
example, yeah, I mean, for example, the EVM sidechain, it has an XRP bridge, but you could certainly transfer any ERC20 tokens as well across the bridge, as long as you set it up correctly. And any IOUs or issued tokens on the XRPL could also be transferred. You just have to set up the bridge that way to enable other tokens, and you're restricted to one type of token for each one. So you can't, for example, transfer several types of ETH across the bridge, because then it gets complicated when you're trying to transfer your funds back on which one you actually want.
Got it. So David talks a lot about the DEX, the decentralized exchange. And recently we heard that he believes it's going to really benefit from stable coins. And I would imagine these stable coins then would be wrapped and they'll be locked, if I understand that properly. Who does the custody of that? Who does the custody when it transfers over? Is there a custody agent in that locking position?
So it's kind of spread across all of the witness servers. The witness servers kind of are combined custodying these assets. The reason there isn't some sort of specific way like it's not put in an escrow or anything like that is because the witness servers can effectively do whatever they want with these funds anyways, because they could just as easily send a payment as they could flag a transfer that never actually happened. And so it just makes more sense to let the witness servers have full control over those assets. Baking this in to the layer one with XLS38D makes sure that you can't really have smart contract bugs, which often arise because you're trying to, edit the smart contract and you don't realize there's a bug in your edit or something like that. That's exactly what happened with Wormhole, for example. And we're doing a lot of work to make sure that it's very difficult to hack the witness servers. For example, they're not public at all, so you don't need to. It's very difficult to even find where they are to hack them.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So the Federated sidechain was kind of the original design that we had for these bridges. Basically some subset of the validators on the sidechain would function also as kind of equivalent to the witness servers, but that got really difficult from a technical distributed systems perspective. Because, for example, all of these validators have to somehow agree on the fee and the sequence number of the account that they're working with. And that just got really complicated to debug and work out all of those kinds of things with. So that design was scrapped and we came up with XLS38 instead, where all the witness servers act independently, pay their own fees. So this is no longer an issue.
Good. So does this bridge play a role in Prisma, which I know is a very important part of the build out of the ecosystem for Ripple? And what about the AMM? Is it going to play a part in the AMM at all?
I can't really give you a lot of detail on that because I'm not really involved in either of those projects, and so don't know what their plans are with XLS38, if any. This bridge is primarily for the dev community, such as testing out experimental functionality, and so I'm curious how devs will use it. And I do think there's a lot of potential for functionality with like the AMM, where you can say maybe access mainnet liquidity more easily from a side chain or something like that. There's probably some really cool applications there, but I'm not a markets expert, so I would leave that up to those folks to figure out some cool application for that.
Yeah, I'm just sure that with this capability, we're going to see a lot of devs have a lot of fun with their imagination and like you said, build out some really cool functionality, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to see what people come up with.
Let's shift more towards Mayukha. I want to know, when did you write your very first piece of code?
I got started coding in high school, my freshman year of high school, which for those international folks, I was 14 or 15. When I learned how to code and when I started coding, I realized that it was something that I was really good at and also really enjoyed. I like learning languages a lot, and writing code is just learning to speak a computer's language and communicating with them. And any bug that you have is usually because you're just misunderstanding the language and the computer is interpreting it literally. Yeah, so I first wrote code in Java. There's this program that a lot of people use when they're learning how to code in Java, where you're just like moving a turtle around. And so that was kind of the first code that I ever wrote, other than your basic hello world print statement type things. I write such diverse code these days. On any given day, I'm writing Python, JavaScript, and C++. just because I work on tooling and I work on native Ripple D functionality. And it's nice to have that diversity in what I'm working on, because, when I'm getting too done with banging my head against C++ memory issues or that sort of thing, I can come up to Python and JavaScript where all that's hidden away from me. And whenever I have an issue with Python and JavaScript, whenever I want to really get into the nitty gritty of things, I can go back to C++. So it's nice to have that mix, really.
All right, let's try a rapid fire question. And what are the best environmental factors for your coding? Okay, day or night?
These days, day. It used to be night when I was
How,
in college.
how about music on, music off?
On.
Sitting for a long stretch of time, or sitting, getting up, sitting, getting up?
Absolutely long stretch of time. I got to get in the zone.
And the last one, snacks yes, snacks no.
I try to avoid snacks, but sometimes you just get the craving.
So our last question is, how did you find Ripple, or did Ripple find you?
So I joined Ripple out of college, and I found Ripple at my college's career fair, actually. And I had some really great conversations with the people there, the Ripple X people there. Back then it was known as Spring, though. And when I was looking for a job coming out of college, it was I was kind of looking for a place where I could work on cool things with cool people. And that's really vague, I know, but also you really know it when you see it. And I've definitely hit the jackpot with Ripple X. There's always new things to work on. Everyone I work with is brilliant and super helpful and really great to talk to. And I'm working on really cool things.
Yeah, the talent pool is really impressive. I went through the bios on the Ubri that just took place up in Canada, and it really blew me away. So I know you're among some really great minds. So I wanted to thank you again for your time. I know you're busy, and we're going to just let you take us out on one last thought that you want to leave everyone with, and go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to put in a quick plug for the project that I'm currently working on, which is called XRPL plugins. And it makes it easier to add custom features for experimentation or custom side chains without needing to know the depths and complexities of Ripple D, or even without even needing to know C++. You can now, the demo version that I'm working on, you can write new features in Python, which I think is super cool and is a lot of fun. So check it out.
Yeah, I think you talked a little bit about that at Apex, right?
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched that. It was good. Yeah, I think people were actually working from their laptop in the audience, right?
I tried to get that to happen. I was expecting it to be a workshop with everyone having their laptops, and then like 7 people had a laptops out of like 60 plus audience members. So I just kind of gave up on that part and just walked folks through the example instead.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I thought it was nice. It didn't feel really rehearsed, or it was just something really in the raw, like really happening, like as if you were in a teaching moment. It was great. I liked it. Thank you, Mayukha. I really wish you the best, and stay out of trouble, and keep your head down, keep building, and I'll do my best to stay out of trouble too. But thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.